Hey Flower Tribe, it's Kelly Lehman from Cranberry Fields Flower Farm, and today I want to show you 6 ways to support your flopping peonies. If we haven't met yet, it's nice to meet you. My name is Kelly Lehman. I'm the owner of Cranberry Fields Flower Farm here in Cranberry, New Jersey, and I love giving you guys fun, free flower tips. So please feel free to subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit that bell notification so you know whenever I post another fun, free flower tip video. So let's dive right in. So here it is May, and we're in my New Jersey garden. I'm at planting hardiness zone 6. And this is what my peonies look like. So we had a few 90-degree days. These peonies burst open, and some of these gorgeous blooms are just absolutely tremendous. So we had some rain here right after they burst open, and the rain knocked a lot of these peonies to the ground. That's why you see these gals kind of like drooped over. So I want to show you a few ways to support your peonies that might have flopped over. And the first way that I'm going to show you is by using just a simple trick using a coat hanger. So just a simple coat hanger. I actually had already like unbent this one, and it's actually a little bit better if you can find the ones that aren't so like white, like this one's going to kind of pop out on your plant. Well, unless you have like white blooms, and it might not look that bad. But if you can find one that kind of has like that coppery look, then it's going to be hidden even better. And you basically just take it. I've got 2 little hooks at the end. I'm going to basically hook them together. So I'm just going to take the coat hanger and I'm going to wrap it around the plant and then just attach it where those little squigglies are. And that's it. Nice and upright. Easy squeezy. The second method I'm going to show you is using just some bamboo poles placed in the ground at the base of the plant. And I'm going to basically just wrap some of this gardening tape around it. Just the simple, like flex tape that you have sometimes to train roses and things like that. Or you can use string or twine, whatever you have kind of handy. And so I basically just put these in the ground. And you can get some of these bamboo poles at your local garden centers. And I put them in the ground. This one's in the ground here. I'm going to lift up the plant. I've got all the stems in place there, and I'm just going to wrap this gardening tape around it. I'm going to wrap it around the bamboo poles, and I'm going to loosely tie it because this plant might continue to grow, and I don't want it to get kind of caught up with the gardening tape here. I'm going to actually do a double bow to make sure it doesn't come undone, and make sure the leaves aren't all caught up in it. Okay, and this plant is good to go. Now I'm going to show you a similar method, but if you don't have bamboo poles at your house, I'm going to show you a really great garden hack because you can use some of the old dead canes from your hydrangea in place of these bamboo poles. So let's go take a walk over to my hydrangeas and I'll show you how that works. Come on, let's go. Come on. This is what one of my hydrangeas looks like in my secret garden, and this one had what's known as winter zap. So this was one of my endless summers. It should be filled with beautiful green growth on these old stems right now. All of these stems should look like this, but they were frozen off when we had a cold snap during spring. So instead of beautiful fresh green growth like this, these guys are just dead right now. So I'm going to wind up cutting these out. And I'm going to make sure that I don't hit any of the new flowers that are at the base of this plant. And guys, it's never a good idea to come out and give a harsh pruning to your hydrangeas in late spring. But since these guys are dead, it's always okay to cut out the dead canes any time of year. So I'm going to choose the thicker ones because I want to make sure I have that real support. And I can cut this thick dead cane out all the way at the base of the plant. So I'm going to come all the way down here. I'm going to cut this one down here, once again at the base of the plant. Okay, and yeah, so that's it. I'm going to cut a whole bunch of these. And guys, another thing that I use these hydrangea stems, the ones that are dead, you could tell that they're dead because they have pure white. There's no green left on it. So there is no living matter in this plant right now or in this stem right now. I'm going to use these as kindling wood for my fireplace. So sometimes we have outdoor fires in our fire pit, and this is a great fire starter. So I'm going to use the ones that are taller here as my peony support stakes. I'm going to wind up putting these hydrangea sticks around the plant. For the really large ones, I'll use at least 3. Sometimes I'll even do 4 all the way around the plant. I find it easiest to do this when the soil is nice and damp, so it's easier to come out here after a rainstorm. And sometimes I'll take the pointier end of the stick and I'll start digging my hole that way. I just kind of poke it in the ground. Okay, so we just kind of chop in there, get it down a few inches, and then I'm going to spin it around so I've got the thicker end of the stick actually placed in that ground. But now that thinner part kind of broke the way for it. So this guy's gonna go in. Okay, and I did the same thing all the way around the plant. I've got one here. I've got one of the sticks over here. I'm actually gonna put the thicker end of the stick in the ground here just to make sure that support stays where I want it to be. And then I've got one on the other side over here. And then I've got a fourth one over here. Sometimes you can get away with just 3, but if you have a giant mama peony like this, then you might want to do the 4. And I'm just going to give it a big hug. I'm going to go right around the plant. I'm going to pick up those floppy ones, go all the way around, and I'm going to kind of bring it up a little bit higher. I don't want to tie it too tight together because a lot of times there'll be moisture that gets stuck between these leaves. So I want to still give them a little bit of an airflow, but yet I want to make sure they're supported. So don't put them so tight that they're all bunched up like this together, because then they're going to wind up getting mildew. So let's give them a little bit of airflow, but yet still give them some help with the support. I'm going to do a double bow. And once again, you can use twine if you don't have gardening tape. And that's it. Sometimes you don't want to deal with all these little gidgemagoos and having to come out here and tie all these things up. So since we've got rows and rows and rows of peonies, I don't come out here and, do all this tying and spend a whole bunch of time with coat hangers. I'll find the ones that seem to have super sturdy stems. And then if there's just 1 or 2 blooms that are kind of flopping, by themselves, so I'll just kind of give it like a little bit of support with its sister flowers. And a lot of times that's enough just to give it that little bit of support to keep it off the ground without having to do all those gidgemagoos. And now I'm going to tell you method number 5, and we're going to take a walk out to the secret garden for this one. You can just buy a peony support system at your local garden centers or Amazon, and I'll put a link in descriptions below to some of the ones that I like. And it's a very easy system of just putting some of these metal stakes into the ground, and then they've got these beautiful hoops that wrap themselves around the peonies. And a lot of them have like 2 of them, so like that double system. And you can tell it's got that kind of like interlocking that I did with the coat hanger before, but it's all made for you. It's all pre-made. So you can even do this with a mature plant and just kind of wrap it around. You just put these 3 stakes in the ground. So there's one here, there's a stake in the ground here. It's got a big vine coming up, I'd have to get rid of that. It's got 1 stake in the ground over here, and then it's got a 3rd stake right over here. So it's got these 3 stakes, and then it's got the 2 hoops, 1, 2. I actually had put this system in place earlier in the season when the plant was small. So that's the easiest time to put in one of these peony support systems. So if you know you've got a super heavy peony that's going to need that support in your garden, you can just put this in the ground when the plant's really tiny, because then it's really easy. And there's other ones like this. It's called almost like a peony support cage, and you can just put it over the top. It's almost like a little bit of like a grid, and you lay it on the top, and then when the peonies get taller, they actually start growing through those grids, and then the grid acts as a support system. And I'll put a link to some of those products and descriptions below also in case you want to buy one of those grid systems. Thank you so much for joining me in this video, and please say hi to us over on my Cranberry Fields Instagram page and also on our Kelly Lehman's Flower Tribe Facebook group, because there's thousands of gardeners from all over the world, and they're asking and answering tons of garden questions over there each week. And please also hop on over to my podcast. You guys have asked me to come up with a podcast with quick and easy to follow gardening tips, and you asked for it, you got it. So you could check all these links out in descriptions below. And please also let me know where you're viewing this from in this great big beautiful world. I love to see how our flower tribe is growing around the globe each week. And I also have a link to my online flower courses that teach you how to grow amazing fresh cut flowers in your own backyards, and then how to arrange those beautiful flowers. So I will see you in the next video. That's good. Oh, you started? Okay. Oh my. And I've got another one in here. Where is it? Hello, you're stuck on the leaves. The plant's too big. The second way I'm going to show you to support this hydrangea, it's not a hydrangea, is it?